Came as a complete shock. There was no warning that a cut of that significance was going to happen.
It can be so draining, fighting people who just don't seem to understand.
It's not that I can't do things. I can do things when the environment is right and when the support is right.
For years, disabled people have had specialist equipment or support workers paid for by a grant called Access to Work. But in my role as a campaigner and journalist, I've been inundated with stories of people having their support packages cut. The result? Jobs are being lost.
Hello.
Jess Tom is the co-artistic director of Tourette's Hero.
I also have Tourette's, which means I make movements and noises I can't control.
Hi Jess.
Hi Shani.
She says that Access to Work has been transformative for her career.
When my tics first started to intensify, that was such a difficult biscuit adjustment to make, and so much of my working life felt at risk. I need support to move about in my wheelchair. I find it difficult to type. I will dictate emails, biscuit, to my support worker or reports. But it's also about very basic things, managing medication routines or going to the toilet.
But in May, after months of wrangling, Jess learned that the award she has received for 15 years was being cut by 61%.
I wasn't asking for anything that hasn't been funded by Access to Work for years. The only thing that can have changed, biscuit, is Access to Work's decision-making policy.
Most of that cut focused on pay for support workers. Yeah. During a break in filming, Jess had a seizure-like episode. She asked we use the footage to show why she needs skilled assistance.
Suddenly, several times a day, I lose complete control of my body and speech. My tics make me at risk of hurting myself involuntarily.
Who was that supporting you?
That was a colleague who stepped away from doing his job to support me to ensure my sort of basic safety. Not all my colleagues would feel comfortable or would be able to support me in that way.
Jess says the cuts to her award mean she is no longer able to run the company she founded.
Everything I've achieved within my career, every single thing Tourette's Hero has done, it has been possible because of Access to Work. Biscuit, and not having that makes it impossible.
The number of people claiming Access to Work has skyrocketed, up 43% last year to nearly 50,000. Isaac has no upper limbs and scoliosis. He also has an MBE for his advocacy for the disabled community. In order to assist his work, he applied for an Access to Work grant.
It's to say it's been a very draining battle. Throughout the process meant dealing with advisors who just really didn't understand my needs, and that I need actual bespoke and specialist things put in place, because without it, it's like I can't really do much, but with it, I can do a lot.
Isaac was turned down for a specialist wheelchair and an adjustable bed from which to work. And whilst he was given money for a support worker, it was below market rate for where he lives.
It's hard to find someone who would accept that rate, especially in London. And I feel quite anxious when it comes to going to events and networking and public speaking by myself, because I can't eat and drink myself. But also there are times where I am in so much pain by not being able to go to the bathroom.
The government's welfare reform has caused a political ruckus, but rising costs have led to a clear narrative that savings have to be made.
But the current system that we have today is not sustainable.
Economically, the cost is going through the roof.
Access to Work isn't part of tomorrow's vote, but a public consultation closes today on future reforms. Last year, the scheme cost £255 million, a 34% rise. And whilst Labour say they want more disabled people in work, Minister Stephen Timms said in February ever-increasing costs can't continue.
I think we're going to need to make some fairly significant reforms to access to work. The current style is unlikely to be sustainable in the long term.
But in the Scottish borders, changes are already playing out.
Good boy.
Rachel, who is autistic, operated her own award-winning bakery business for 3 years thanks to an Access to Work grant. But on renewal this time round, things seemed instantly different.
They were insisting that I made a phone call to them and that they must speak to me specifically. They wouldn't speak to my support workers, despite the fact that they pay for my support workers to answer the phone, because they acknowledge that I really struggle with that. They then closed my renewal, despite my advocate highlighting to them yet again that I had a reasonable adjustment in place to speak to them via email.
Without her award and the support workers it paid for, Rachel's business quickly faltered.
Everything just deteriorated and got so overwhelming, and it just spiraled. So I went away. There was then a missing person search for me with the police as a vulnerable high-risk missing person.
The Department for Work and Pensions told us they're committed to cutting wait times by increasing staff numbers processing claims. They say the consultation will ensure access to work is fit for the future. But many are concerned the long-term gain of helping disabled people to work will be lost to the short-term need to balance the books.